All right, as we move into our LinkedIn Top Soft Skills of 2019 series this week, we look at going to now number 3 on the list. Number 3 is a good one because it's going to help us in our lives in terms of working with other people, okay, and how we do that. So the way we have to do that is by first looking at what this is, okay? Collaboration. Collaboration is key as a soft skill. You do it every day without even knowing it, but it is something you need to work on. And it's a reminder that the reason collaboration is so big and LinkedIn picked it is no one succeeds alone. No one. We can all have some really great talents. Everyone has some outstanding skills they have and can use, and knowledge that maybe no one else can match. But still, no one succeeds by themselves. So how do we succeed? How do we find a way to use our talents and be productive with them? Well, we collaborate. Now, collaboration has, interestingly enough, 2 definitions if you look in the dictionary. The first one is this: the action of working with someone to produce or create something. You're working with somebody, something to create something that's good, that's whole, that's productive and positive. That is the act of collaborating, creating something and producing something with somebody else. But interestingly enough, there is a second definition that I found that I wanted to include as well, and that's this: the traitorous cooperation with an enemy. The traitorous cooperation with an enemy. That's very interesting because that means we have 2 sides that we can choose for with collaboration. We can choose the side of I'm going to help and work with somebody, be productive, and make my team a success, or I can choose the traitor route and cooperate with the enemy and help the enemy. And sometimes the enemy isn't saying, oh, I'm going to leave my team and go to this other team and help them win. The enemy can simply just being you, doing everything in your power to go against your own team. So you're not collaborating, you're doing everything the opposite. You're doing everything negative. You're trying to hold your team back by what you say, by the things you do, the way you communicate, the way you act, the attitudes you have. And so we have the choice to collaborate and be productive and positive, or we have the choice to be the traitor and cooperate with somebody else and cooperate with the enemy. And the enemy isn't always the opposite side. It's sometimes ourselves fighting our own team. Okay, so those are 2 interesting definitions. Then we got to look at with whom do we collaborate. Like, think about who do we collaborate with in our lives. And I was going to ask you this question, so think about it. Maybe you can list a number of people and things that you collaborate with, but it's important. I listed a few, like friends, obviously. You collaborate with friends on a daily basis to see what's going on, to see who's doing what. You collaborate with family. That means siblings. That means parents. That means extended family. All those relationships are sometimes a collaborative strategy and collaborative thing you do. You collaborate with your pets. I think you really do because you got to collaborate with them. Hey, what do you need? What can I get you? Hey, let's go do this activity. You're doing something productive, right? You're trying to create and produce something that's good, so you sometimes do that with pets. Leaders, you collaborate with leaders in your life. Teachers, bosses, supervisors, coaches, pastors, politicians, police officers, leaders, and people in authority in our life. We collaborate with them in many different types of ways. Okay, you also deal with classmates. Those can also be friends, but classmates that you just are working in a group with, that are in your class and you need some help with. You're assigned to do a group project with them. How do you collaborate? Your teammates in a sports team, you collaborate every day. You're collaborating on the fly. You're collaborating in practice. You're collaborating in games, all in the effort of trying to produce something that's great and create wins. You look at the New England Patriots this past weekend, collaborated again to make it to the Super Bowl. You got to appreciate greatness. I know a lot of people have opinions on them, but you have to appreciate the greatness that is the New England Patriots and for the things that they've done. And they've collaborated even without the best talent, without all the glitz and the glams. Tom Brady is an average athlete at best, but somehow he finds a way to collaborate with the people that are around him, the coaches he has, to be successful. We also collaborate with our department coworkers and a separate department coworkers. So eventually when you're on a job, you're going to need to collaborate with people in your own department, in your own area, your specialty. But you'll also collaborate with people maybe outside of that department, communicating, working with each other in unison to create a great product or create a great business outcome. It's interesting enough that now in our world that you can collaborate across the country or across the world without even being in the same place. Many people now are working in various places, working almost on different locations, but yet they're coworkers. And so that is becoming a thing. You might have a job someday where your coworker is 1,000 miles away. It's crazy. According to the New York Times, telecommuting is fast on the rise, and so telecommuting is communicating over a digital platform because you don't work in the same office, so to speak. And so it's risen to 79% between 2005 and 2012, and now makes up 2.6% of the American workforce. Or in other words, as the New York Times puts it, 3.2 million workers, according to statistics from the American Community Survey. So more businesses are employing people in remote locations, which means collaboration is so key. You got to know how to collaborate. We also collaborate with our schools to get an education. You got to collaborate and work with them. You collaborate with our businesses, our doctors, who help us get to where we want to in life or get healthy in life. We collaborate even things like I thought of a phone company, whether it be Verizon or Sprint or whoever your company is. You collaborate with them to get the services you want, right? So you're collaborating. And so those are some relationships that you definitely collaborate with. You're going to do this on a daily basis. Now next, with collaboration, you got to look at the relationships, okay, and the common goal that you have. Everyone in collaboration has a common goal. They do. It's what is our common goal? What is our set outcome that we want to achieve? And if you have a set common goal for yourself, now you're going to be more likely to hit it, okay? Because remember, no one succeeds alone. So you got to have clear standards. Clear standards set the tone for how things are going to be done in terms of collaboration. You got to have defined roles, clear roles. Who does what? Not everyone can do the same job. It won't work that way. No team can fill every single need by being the same person. You have to have different roles. And then you have to have the set desired outcome. Hey guys, what is our goal? What is our positive, productive outcome of this project that we want? What are we trying to get after? When everyone knows that common goal, it's easier to collaborate. It really is. And so the common goal starts with having a culture. And I could talk about this for a long time, but culture is creating that like-minded mindset for a united purpose. Like everyone is in for this thing and they understand what it's about, how we go about doing it. Culture is something that it is harder to define. You kind of just know it when you see it and you know it when it's not there. But it's super, super important in any workplace, any team, any group that wants to collaborate. And Dabo Swinney is one of those coaches in college football that has done it. They have their culture of commitment in terms of how they look at things, how they build things up with their pyramid, as you see there. And he had this great line after they won the national championship. And he said, you know what, these trophies, they're not going to define us, ever. The culture of our program is what we will be defined by. And so that's what he realizes. That's the common goal he sets out. Not necessarily the trophies, and everyone buys into that in Clemson football. They buy into the culture and creating that culture, and they know that that's what's going to get them to where they need to go. John Gordon, a very famous author and speaker, he has a lot of great things on culture, and two quotes he has is, culture is the reason why organizations have sustained success. Culture drives expectations and beliefs. Expectations and beliefs drive behavior. Behavior drives habits, and then habits create the future. And it all starts with culture. It all starts with culture. If you look at NASA as well, they have a great collaboration culture. They really do, because they need to know how to problem solve and work together to create a positive outcome, right? So their mission is usually to send a spaceship or a spacecraft into space to successfully accomplish a mission. And it takes all different parts coming together to create that spaceship. And so they need various departments, they need people working with each other, forming ideas, producing actual products, creating things, and then putting them all together. That's collaboration. They've even started, NASA has, a university of collaboration with the goal of bringing the best minds together in science and engineering and all those types of fields for one purpose. And that purpose is to create and sustain and fulfill the mission. NASA is a great example of what collaboration has to look like. You see the picture there, the recipe to nourish your team and culture. I thought that was very good. That's from John Gordon's book. It starts with stirring the pot with love, leading with optimism, spread the vision, build the trust, fill the void with positive communication, create and engage relationships, combine inspiration and encouragement, empowerment and coaching, fill up with appreciation, heat with passion, and then you bring it all together with unity, and now that's culture. And you see, it's not a 1, 2, 3 step process. It takes some things to go right to build a culture and collaboration, but they are so important. So important. The next thing we need with collaboration is we need to have collaboration with and communication. Relationships drive communication, and that's what I'm getting to at the end. But I say relationships because they're so important. But collaboration with communication is necessary. You can't just collaborate without any talk, without any effective communication happening. And so you think about the biggest problems with teams and groups and organization usually come from a breakdown in communication. They usually do. So when you collaborate, we want to make sure that we are communicating, we are on the same page, we are working for, again, the common goal. Around $37 billion a year is lost due to employees misunderstanding bad communication. We don't have that luxury. Okay, $37 billion is not something we can just throw around and, oh well, we lost some money here, we lost some money there. Tell that to a small business owner. Tell it to a small business owner. Tell it to the person who is struggling to meet their finances. Bad communication and going with collaboration affects them. Interestingly enough, we have many forms today to communicate. It really does. And so I looked it up. I wanted to find out for myself, and I just searched messaging apps available for phones. And this is what I got. There's WhatsApp, there's Viber, there's Slack, there's Microsoft Teams, there's Telegram, there's Signal, there's GroupMe, there's WeChat, there's Line, there's Discord, there's Snapchat, there's Skype, there's Voxer, there's BlackBerry Messenger, there's Textra, there's Silence, there's Dust, there's Wire, there's WickerMe, there's Threema, there's Silent Phones, there's Kik, there's IM Plus, there's Tango. All messaging apps that we can have on our phones and our devices. There should be no reason we can't collaborate and communicate after seeing all those options. We just got to pick one. And then there's, on top of that, email, there's texting, there's actual phone calls which work really well. We have FaceTime now. And then we have the greatest thing of all, face-to-face conversation. We have to collaborate effectively. We have to communicate effectively. Don't want to waste time. You know, you look at The Office and how they sometimes lacked communication, how that affected their business. You wonder how they stayed in business for so long. Well, it was a TV show, but it was kind of comical to see it play out in real life, and we laugh at it, but it's no joke. It's serious. If we don't communicate with collaboration, we are not going to make it. We really aren't. And collaboration helps us come to an agreement on things. It helps everyone decide, okay, this is the direction we're going to go. We're going to make this decision. We're going to make this product. We're going to sell it this way. We're going to spend our money on this. Communication helps eliminate any of the gray areas that happen in groups and teams. Companies and organizations that communicate effectively are 4.5 times more likely to retain the best employees. That's a very good stat a study came from. 50% of the positive changes in communication patterns within the workplace can be accredited to social interaction outside the workplace. So when we communicate outside the workplace, we're going to be better off collaborating in the workplace when we need to. And then only 5.9% of companies actually communicate goals daily. It's super important. Goals need to be communicated daily. It needs to be everywhere. Any good company has it. That's why you see words and signs in hallways and in locker rooms, because they want everyone to know what they're collaborating for. And if you do that, that's going to help the communication happen, and that's going to be communicated daily. Okay? 33% of employees said a lack of open and honest communication has the most negative impact on employee morale. That's really crazy. So if we don't communicate, you won't feel happier at work. You'll feel like, I hate going to this job. I hate working with my coworkers, because you don't communicate. Communication is super, super important. And then finally, collaboration, it equals relationships. What I've been kind of hinting at all along, because it's super important. It's all about relationships. It is all about relationships. It's at the core of any great team, relationships. It really is. You can't really get to collaboration unless you have relationships. And that starts with personal investments. That's caring and empathizing with people outside of the workplace. You know, letting them know, hey, how's it going this weekend? Hey, you want to come over? You want to go out and get a bite to eat? Those things build relationships, which lead to better collaboration. That's helping somebody when they need to. Hey, how can I help you out? Whether it be on the job or just in life. That's leaders doing it for their employees. That's employees helping their employees. That's even employees helping their leaders, because when you have all those great relationships, now you succeed because everyone's together. People matter over machines. They do. And we have great machines, we have great technology, but got to remind ourselves that people matter more than the machines. You look at Dominic Toretto. I love the Fast and Furious movies, and there's a lot of things that go on in those movies that are really crazy, that are spectacular, all the chases, the car crashes, just the cars in general, pretty awesome. But he had some really great words in recent years when Paul Walker passed away due to a car crash. A lot of these quotes came up, but if you notice, Dom Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, over the course of all the movies that will probably keep going on for years and years and years to come, there'll probably be a Fast and Furious, 50. But what he always maintained was family, relationships. Yes, they were involved in some crazy stuff, but relationships mattered the most to him. He said the most important thing in life will always be the people in this room. Right here, right now, salute mi familia. You remember that at the end of one of the movies. He wanted to get everyone together and say, hey guys, we can't get caught up with the outside forces. We can only control what goes on in this lab, in this room, right here and now with the people that we're with. And so he remembered that, and that's what matters, relationships. He also said this, I don't have friends, I got family. I don't got friends, I got family. And he said that in Fast and Furious 7, which was the movie that was being shot in the midst of Paul Walker passing away due to the car crash. And so it was a reminder that, hey, you know what? I just don't have friends or acquaintances that I collaborate and work with. I got family that I work with, and that's a good reminder. And then the biggest quote I always took away from him was, hey, no matter where you are, whether it's a quarter mile away or halfway across the world, you will always be family. And if you remember the very first Fast and Furious, he talked about living life a quarter mile at a time. And so I love that quote. No matter where you are, whether it's a quarter mile away or halfway across the world, you will always be family. It's about relationships. You can't do anything without it in terms of collaboration. You really can't. So now we have some good communication and good collaboration, and bad collaboration. What does that look like? Bad collaboration is forced. You have no rhyme or reason. There's no clear vision. When you force collaboration, it usually never succeeds. Repeated or bad team history, when you have a team that has been known to have bad attitudes, they've never worked well together, they've never succeeded together, you got to ask yourself what needs to change for this success to happen within the group. Otherwise, it's just going to lead to bad collaboration. Toxic or bad relationships. Reminder, all it takes is one bad seed in a group, in a team, to make things go negative, and then things go bad, and no collaboration can exist. Unproductive meetings, when you have meetings that have no agenda, that just have no rhyme or reason to them, and no one knows why or what the purpose is for the meeting. That never leads to good collaboration. Having zero transparency, meaning there's no open, honest communication. There's no trust happening because no one knows what's going on. Everyone seems like they're hiding something, and so that leads to bad collaboration. Zero structure. When there's no structure, no one can stay aligned in terms of the goals that need to be set out for collaboration to happen. Gossip as well. Gossip spreads deceit, spreads lies, and ultimately it takes away trust, leading no one to want to collaborate with each other. And everyone's doing their own individual thing, and no one's uniting together for the cause. And then finally, there's a lack of engagement. When there's a lack of engagement, when no one really cares about the positive outcome and the purpose that they're trying to do things for, well, you can't really do anything there. If no one cares, it's time to scrap and eliminate people and say, all right, we're starting from square one. Let's build a team that will collaborate with each other. But then you do have good collaboration. It's always good to look at that. And a reminder that good collaboration does create more success. It creates more wins, revenue, sales, a quality product, etc. Those good things is what will happen with good collaboration. It saves you time. I love the phrase, together everyone achieves more. Oh, also that spells out team, the acronym for team. And so we save time and everyone achieves more when we collaborate. We also reduce conflict. And when we collaborate with each other, we eliminate the stress and anxiety in a workplace that can often take over things. It also increases the retention rate, and then it increases the passion within a group and a team. People want to stick around for a team that collaborates and works with each other. They feel more passionate about the job that they have, the role that they have. So remember, good collaboration has a great outcomes. 33% of millennials want collaborative workplaces. That was interesting. 37% of employees say working with a great team is their primary reason for staying. When you have a great team, you figure things out. St. Louis Rams, another example this past weekend of a team getting to the Super Bowl, whether you agree with the call or not. They made it there. They're in the Super Bowl. But if you knew this, that in 2000, not too long ago, 2012, 2015, in the last 5-7 years, the St. Louis Rams have not been very good at all. At one point, they were 1-15 when they were in St. Louis before they moved to LA. They were 1-15. Worst team in football, 32 out of 32. And they realized, all right, we got to eliminate the bad collaboration that's happening. We got to eliminate some coaches. We got to eliminate some players, some trainers, some people in the front office. We have to come together and collaborate in a good way. And now they are playing in the Super Bowl after not too long ago, in the near past, being 1-15. Now, about 75% of employers rate teamwork and collaboration as very important. Yet 18% of employers get communication and values on their performance reviews. 86% of employees and executives cite lack of collaboration or ineffective communication for workplace failures. I thought this one was good too. Up to 80% of businesses use social collaboration for tools for enhancing business processes. The businesses, the teams that are on the cutting edge of using social collaboration tools are going to make it. They're going to find those ways to get the groups together for a great purpose. And these are also some really great and interesting statistics about collaboration and people coming together. Reasons to show that collaboration is an important aspect in our world and in our businesses and in our teams, in our classes, every day. If you're looking at a few collaborative skills, okay, this is via the balancecareers.com. It's a really great website. And so they and list all these possible skills that you can have as a good collaborator. Maybe you need to add some of these to your mix. Maybe you need to look at, hey, how am I collaborating with my classmates and my teammates? What do I need to do better? What are some subtle things I can do? Like actively listening to the concerns of a team member. That's collaborating with them because you're listening. You're willing to hear their side of the story. Or meeting deadlines for individual contributions. When you meet your deadline, now the whole group can come together and put it together. So you got to do your part. It's about coming together, but you got to do your role. You got to fulfill your role, right? Collaboration, super important skill that you need to develop because you're going to have to do it no matter what group or team you work for or play for in life. You're going to have to collaborate. And so if you can effectively know how to collaborate and know what skills go into it, you're going to have the cutting edge.